Next individual that's going to join us via Zoom, I just had a conversation with him last week. And when I saw what his platform was able to do, I was amazed by it, and I really wanted to have the opportunity to share this tool and resource, and not just because of part of what it does, but the language translation that this has the ability, that I think this can be really transformational. After his very brief presentation, we're actually going to go into the breaks, but I'm going to come back because I wanted to just make a couple announcements that are really, really important about tomorrow. All right, you're ready to go. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction there, Kelly. And I first off really appreciate everyone's welcoming me to this convention. But nonetheless, as she mentioned, we got a chance to talk about maybe 2 weeks ago, week and a half, and touch base not only on what she's doing with the STEM Leadership Alliance, but what my company, FreeFuse, has been doing in the education space, the training space, and many more. But nonetheless, my name is Marcus. I'm with FreeFuse. FreeFuse is what we've coined as a multi-path media platform. And coincidentally, our tool really came from a need. We saw this heavy disconnect between students and learners during the pandemic time, where a lot of what was occurring was maybe the recording or Zoom lectures occurring. And when these Zoom lectures were occurring, they were being recorded and sent to students. But unfortunately, it's not an engaging way or a digestible way to consume video content, especially with today's video consumption habits in mind, where students and just people in general are so used to modern video consumption habits of TikTok and Instagram, where they're watching 10, 20-second videos, maybe 30-second to a minute videos, and they can watch one after another. But for some reason, watching an hour-long video is infeasible. But what we've done is really build our tool and our platform to encompass not only the idea of micro content, but also the idea of interaction within the learning process. And I'm going to pull up my screen here for just a second and share a little bit with you guys. But nonetheless, I actually got not only a couple examples from Kelly herself, but I got to run them through not only our AI, but even manipulate them to show you a few different examples of what the tool could do. In its essence, the tool is really built around the ability to create what we like to call a choose your own adventure learning opportunity. So in the pandemic times, where a lot of the learning process was occurring remote, completely on your own, the learning process ends up becoming very siloed, where there's not much communication, there's not much interaction, and it becomes almost a regurgitation, which is not great for a learner. So what we enabled professors, instructional designers, and departments as a whole to do is harness the ability of creating this choose your own adventure content through free creation and an AI that we've developed to automate the process. But what these choices do is really allow you to embark on a personalized learning experience. And when I make this decision, you'll see that it not only starts to compile my pathway to actually give me an idea, and the admin an idea of what's occurring, an ability to track the progress and so on, but those decisions actually align with the consecutive videos on this decision tree here. And this decision tree is really what empowers that learning process to, one, give you the ability to break things down into consumable bite-sized chunks that someone can understand, consume, and then move on to the next. But two, you can actually embark into more situational learning, where you can allow people to step into the shoes of someone else, learn from the mistakes that they're able to make, but in a safe environment. So this example that you see here is actually interesting, because this is actually a live facilitation that I was provided by Kelly as an example to show you guys, similar to what we saw in the education space and businesses and any entity. There's an element of Zoom calls, webinars, live recorded lectures that are occurring. And what traditionally happens and where we lose the learners is the in-person experience is amazing. It's extremely experiential, and you're able to ask questions and interact with each other. But once you go into that remote environment, you become very siloed. So what we've done is, of course, enable those decisions to be made, but also different forms of interaction with not only your peers, but also your admin and anyone around. So you can collect, share, comments is really cool, because we've actually developed what we like to call open collabs, where you can even open video conversations with others and really start discussions, but in a really engaging format. But nonetheless, how this piece of content was created is actually interesting, because What we saw in the education space when we brought the tool to professors, to instructional designers, was the desire to use it, the desire to create these dynamic breakdowns of information and knowledge, but not the time to do it. So rather than trying to take the time or even finding the time to break down these videos into shorter chunks and manually stitch them together, which you are fully allowed to do or able to do through either our storyboarding function or our freeboarding function, where you can very literally stitch videos together into that tree structure. We actually developed this AI. And what our AI is able to do is harness existing content. So when professors are recording lectures, or even in a training sense, maybe admins are recording trainings for professors or webinars or any kind of video content that's being created, what you're able to do is essentially upload it directly into this AI. You can upload from your computer, you can screen record right here on platform. And what it's going to do is harness that content and analyze all of those audio and visual cues. So you see, this is a video that I was provided for this conference here, and it's about an hour long. And what I did was very literally click upload, drop that in, and the AI took everything from there. It begins to analyze all of the audio and visual cues. It's going to determine all of the subject matter and breakpoints within any maybe PowerPoints or visual aids that you're